What's going on, everybody? Welcome to episode 56 of the Pucking Around podcast. I'm Goosey, joined as always by the Ragtag Brute Squad on Mr. Rick Seligman, our director, and a Mr. Matty Nortimus Prime Norton.
What's up?
We have a splendid show for you guys this evening or morning or afternoon, whenever you guys are tuning in.
Into its vernacular.
I am today. My vocabulary is exquisite. We got a few topics. We're going to talk about a big trade that happened over the weekend.
It was a big boy trade.
Massive trade. Western Conference playoff races, who's in, who's out, and just some predictions going into that. And is Gary Bettman leaving? Some rumors surrounding him. And it all comes to you. Wait for it. Still wait for it. Now, fellas, how we doing? Say hi to the people.
Hi, people.
Rick, say hi to the people. Rick's muted.
Hi to the people, and I'm an idiot because I was muted and I didn't know it.
Nice job, jackass. You already ruined the pod.
Oh, well.
We're already starting off with a penalty. There we go.
2 minutes
How we doing?
for being so stupid. I'm doing good, you?
I'm doing all right. Good solid week. I don't know. My team did well last week, so I don't know. That's a positive for me, right? Bruins went 3-1-0.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. I hate the Bruins, but yeah.
It's fine. Sucks to be you. Get into a playoff spot, we can start talking, but that's fine. I don't know.
Well,
it's 2 against 1 right now in the pod, so I mean, I got 2 Habs fans, and I'm just the lonely Bruins fan. So
we were ahead of you for a little while.
For less than, I think, 24 hours, which is epic. Yeah.
So. Anyway, listen, still plenty of games left.
Yeah, that's fine. I don't know. Matt Normus Prime, tell me about your week. It's Monday.
Yeah, man, that's good, man. You know, Habs are all right. 1-1-1. Okay.
Yeah.
Can't complain too much. We're still right there in the East.
Yeah.
No harm, no foul.
Not too much harm done by. See, the thing is now, like, if you lose a couple of games, you're screwed.
Oh, in the East, yeah, you're completely fucked.
But you need to get points like out of every game, and that's the problem. So yeah, it's a tight race.
Rick, have you guys gotten snow up there? I know we talked a little bit last week. I mean, we've had a bit of a cold front down here in Massachusetts, and it's been great because some ponds have frozen over. So we've gotten to, go outside and do that and play some pond hockey, like, some puck. So beats paying $15 American to skate for an hour and then be told that you suck. So, I mean, there's that.
I heard there's nothing you can do in Boston that's less than $15.
Not true. You can walk around for free. You just
that's about all. You can stay home and watch Netflix. Even that costs.
That's not free. That costs me money. Yeah. I've been watching Dexter on Netflix. Great show. 10 out of 10 recommend. It's old as shit, but it's good.
Because the new one where they go back to the beginning. Don't even bother. Not worth it. The original, like the first, is amazing.
No, yeah, it's a good show. They're coming out with the sequel to it too, where it's his son.
Yeah,
so
they did that. That was so one season of that, but now there's a new one where it goes back to when he's younger and how it all starts, and it's dumb as shit.
No, I thought the new one coming out in June was going to be his son.
No,
I thought that was
okay. But I saw that's already a couple years old. How come you're only getting that now?
Oh, dude, I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. This is fucking. I don't know. Daddy Trump closed the border, so I guess I didn't know that included movies and shows too. Like,
I guess. Right?
I don't know what you want.
I don't know.
I don't know what you want. I have to pay a tariff on it too. So
yeah, there you go.
Come on, that's funny. I don't care who you are,
Netflix
or not. That shit's fucking funny right there.
Netflix is American. You don't have to pay tariffs on that.
No. Someone put a penalty flag on me for talking about it. Oops.
Oh
well.
All right.
And Nordy's over there just quiet, sitting and being a dude.
I think he's naked. That's why he puts that up.
Oh, come on, dude. Let me see them titties.
I think he likes to sit there naked, and he just doesn't want anybody to see. So
I'm clothed.
I don't know. Hey, we should ask the people watching. What do you think? Do you think Matt's sitting there with clothes on or naked? Let us know in the comments.
Come on, Rick. We're better than that.
Are we?
Yeah, let's dive right into it. Whenever we try to do a round the table conversation or anything like that, I feel like you always just like, yeah, and someone's sitting there with their pants off or their shirt off. I'm just like, and Rick has just stuff on his mind. I don't know. It's weird. This video is totally not going to get a lot of views.
I don't think I do that all the time. So
let's get right into it, fellas. Let's get right into it. Big Colorado trade, the 3-team trade.
Woohoo!
It came Friday at 10 p.m. when everyone was basically ready to go to bed, and the West Coast basically just said, "Hey, fuck you. Here's a trade," and it was between 3 teams: Colorado, the Shithawks, and the Carolina Hurricanes, where Carolina received Mikko Rantanen. It's a pretty modest pickup right there, and Taylor Hall.
And that all they got?
Yeah, it's pretty modest.
Imagine what, like, that's it.
The Avalanche received Marty Necas, Jack Drury, a 2025 second round pick, 2026 fourth round pick, all of which are from Carolina. And then the Blackhawks got a poop sandwich for Taylor Hall, which was a 2025 third round pick, which is their own, returned from Carolina, for retaining 50% of Rantanen's salary and for giving them Taylor Hall. So, way to go for setting the market for left wingers.
Like really, because for them to retain 50% of Rantanen's salary means Rantanen was actually traded to Chicago, no?
For nothing.
Yeah, but he would have went to Chicago and then to Carolina.
Right.
That's
so
how that
and all you got back was a third round pick. Like what? So something's going to happen down the road.
Yeah, it's weird. Like, and I get it. I mean, obviously Chicago's not going anywhere anytime soon.
Yeah, so for this year, it doesn't matter.
Christ almighty, you gave up Taylor Hall and you retained like $5 million. And you
okay.
Third, and it was your own third, so you basically didn't get anything.
On Habnormals, we had Craig Wilson on, and he kind of explained it like how he thinks it is, and I think it makes sense. Is they're sort of curried favor for down the road. So now think about it. Carolina's got Rantanen and Taylor Hall. If they that's a lot of money. They're going to have to shed people. I think there's a deal going to happen between Chicago and Carolina in the offseason that's going to strengthen Chicago. And that's why they did it. Because otherwise, did the GM of Chicago have a lobotomy or something that we didn't know about?
What does it matter? Hold on. What does that doesn't matter? I don't know if I necessarily agree with that assessment, because what does that do for them now? And it also doesn't guarantee them anything in the future,
because they're not going to make no matter what they do, they're not making the playoffs. So that part doesn't matter.
Shit.
So if they made a deal like this, did a favor, and they get a favor back, but it's down the road, that's probably why this looks stupid.
So we're just going to act in good faith all the time now. No, I don't know if I agree with that assessment.
Sometimes GMs do things like that, and they curry favors for later.
I don't know.
I'm not saying for sure that that's what happens, but tell me something else that makes more sense.
I challenge you to name a time where that actually happened. Because
Sheldon. I don't know.
Dude, it's a fucking business. There's no way that the guy just was like, yeah, just give us a third round pick, and then and we'll retain 50% of his contract, and then you want to know what, we'll work something out later. I sincerely doubt that is probably something. And if a big trade does happen, sure, maybe Chicago gives up a first round pick or something, and maybe they do get Rantanen, in the offseason, or Taylor Hall back, because they're both UFAs. So it's.
I don't think it's something like that. That'd be up to. You think Rantanen would want to sign in Chicago?
I don't know. To play with a guy like Connor Bedard, it's the equivalent to playing with Nathan McKinnon.
He's in Carolina, where he's playing with his best friend, Aho. They're apparently best friends.
Line's ridiculous. Svetch, Aho, and Rantanen.
Yeah. No, the first line's absolutely stupid. And the defense is.
I see Rantanen re-signing, and if they can swing it, I don't know. Now listen, I have this here where apparently he was willing to take less to sign with Carolina. No, with Colorado. So it says to the Finnish newspaper, it said, I was willing to take
below his market value, because
his market value he was asking for $14 million.
No, I know, but if he was willing to take significantly lower than that, like,
Why didn't he?
it wouldn't be much of a raise for him. I don't know what, like, the Avalanche would have signed him at that point.
Yeah, I don't
I don't
believe
know.
and say
unless he thinks 14, unless he thinks he's worth like the max, which I think is 16 million
it's
AAV
gonna
now.
go to 16, yeah.
Oh, you think 14 million he's saying is a discount?
Off? Like, I don't know, but I find that hard to believe. And I guess he had vetoed a trade to Carolina like earlier in the week, and then Sakic told him, "All right, you're either going there or you're going to Chicago. You pick." So he picked the Hurricanes. No surprise.
Okay, so then maybe he does go to Chicago at the end of it. I don't know, but yeah, what? So they retained 50%. So he was making about $9.5 million, and you're telling me he was willing to take a significant pay cut. So yeah, I think they offered him 10 or 12.
Well, that begs the question. A pay
So
cut
I'm
from
confused.
What? Pay cut from what?
That's what I'm thinking too. Like, what pay cut from what?
Right?
He's doing that to save.
He's not taking less money than he's making today.
Yeah, he's doing that to save face.
But if he was willing to take like 10 million or 10.5, I don't like he would have been re-signed. Like, something's not right there.
Yeah.
Like something
I don't know. Something
right.
does seem weird about that.
Yeah.
And I mean, he's like McKinnon's like best friend too, and they've been playing together for how many years, and McKinnon didn't know anything about it. Don't you find that weird too? McKinnon didn't know anything about it till after the trade was made?
I mean, I don't think any GM is going to go tell their players, hey, we're trading this guy. Like, I think a lot of times they'll blindside him more than they'll just go into the locker room and be like, you're done.
I mean,
they had to have seen that coming. I mean, there's no question about it.
But apparently here in Montreal, they actually consult with Nick Suzuki when they're thinking of doing stuff. It's not a joke. They pass it by him, get his opinion. So why wouldn't they have done that with McKinnon?
Oh, I'm sure there's probably I don't know. There's probably some GMs that do that, but not every GM does it. But
I get that's true.
Probably. But with the amount of rumors that were circulating, and these players pay attention to them. They're not stupid. They're not. Their heads
the
aren't.
Agents do for sure. The agents for sure pay attention to it.
So it was definitely no secret that there was an opportunity that they would Joe Sakic was likely going to shop him.
Well, and McKinnon said he didn't know, like it caught him by surprise.
That's fine. You can still catch you by surprise in the sense that he didn't think it was going to happen. Like, oh my God, they actually did it. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I saw the rumors, but I can't believe they actually did it. That's still a surprise.
Yeah, no, it is. I don't know. Anyways, how do we know the situation? It just it's a hell of a trade.
I mean, more or less.
I mean, the only other, I don't know, silver lining, if you want to call it, for Chicago, I think they did end up saving like $1 million overall.
Didn't they have the most money of all teams in cap?
Still, right? Like,
well, that's not a silver lining when you're you got the most cap in the league and you saved another $1 million. Like, that's not it. The reason they were able to do it was because they had all that cap space, because you want to get a return, but you gave up Taylor Hall. So even a Taylor Hall for a third round, that might be questionable. But you took on $4.5 million. Where's your return for that? So something has to be coming down the road.
No, I don't. What leverage does Chicago have for that? Like, that's my question. What?
Well, no leverage. They made a deal. They made a deal. They shook hands on it, or it's a verbal agreement.
Oh, yeah, that means so much. I don't know. I'm not a big. I don't know.
Well, maybe they're not allowed. They might not be allowed to put something like that in writing anyway. So,
I mean, in my opinion, I think Colorado definitely helped their cap situation out.
They did, yes.
They did. I think they ended up saving a little over $1 million as well.
I heard it was more than that.
It's what's going to be coming to them next year, dude. Like, they have to sign a couple people, but they're not like big name contracts. Like, you know what I mean?
Natchez is signed for next year, isn't he? So they don't have that problem, and that's $3 million or so less than what Rantanen was getting this year.
And Landeskog is an LTIR candidate, so it's
right. And Drury, I can't imagine. I can't imagine Jack Drury makes a ton of money.
Yeah, and what, you got to sign Jonathan Drouin? He might leave because right now he's at a point per game. I think
Drouin's at a point per game. That's what you're telling me?
I think so. Or he's about a half a point per game. I can't.
I don't believe this for a second. I got to look this one up. I don't believe it.
I'm looking it up.
I'm looking it up.
He has 18
games. I can do it.
He has 18 games played, 17 total points, 2 penalty minutes.
Drouin, he's only played 18 games?
He was out with an injury.
Yes, he was.
Shocker.
Hey, man, I mean, you play with a guy like McKinnon, he's going to get you assists and he's going to get you involved. And Jonathan Drouin, he's 29.
I'm talking about Drouin just being out with an injury. Like,
oh, yeah, well, that's no surprise to anybody. But you can imagine he's going to leave. He's going to leave, and he's going to get probably $5 million somewhere. He'll get a Jake DeBrusk type contract.
I guess. But, I mean, that'll be a horrible contract because, again, he'll just revert. Like you said, you're playing with those kind of people. Well, you're playing like he's going to go somewhere and play with McKinnon? A guy like that?
No, but if you get a guy that feeds the puck, I mean, Jonathan Drouin's a good player.
Okay, have you ever heard the story?
Though. He's a playmaker.
I remember a kid, off the top of my head, I'm not remembering his name. There was a kid in the 80s, played with Mario Lemieux, scored like 40 goals 1 year. And then he was a free agent, signed with another team. I don't think he scored 40 goals for that team for however long he was there. Because clearly, Mario Lemieux, you could feed anybody and give anybody 40 goals. And it's the situation you're going to get there with Drouin. You're going to sign him because he's point a game, and he ain't going to be point a game.
No, I think he's a respectable player. I mean, he had a couple bad years in Montreal.
He's a 50-point player.
Because he played like 20 games a year for like
he's a
4 years straight.
He's a 50-pointer. You're getting 50 to 55 points from Drouin. That's it.
There was only
45 of them are assists.
He was only
fine.
Is an entirety of his Montreal career. He only had twice where he played under 40 games.
Yeah, but the games he missed were all at the end of the season. There were like 3-4 years in a row where he didn't finish the season.
He's still a very respectable point.
And we could have used him
per game
in
player,
the playoffs. So. We could have used him against Tampa. And he wasn't there because of whatever. I don't want to get into it.
I mean, I hate that. Being on Montreal definitely hurt his stats a little bit. So,
he hurt his stats a little bit.
But he was still a half a point per season player.
Yeah, that's Jonathan Drouin.
So, I mean, that's still a respectable player. It's a second line player.
I get it. But I'm just saying he's not a point-a-game player.
So, no, right now he is. Just about.
It's a lie.
He's still going to get $5 million. He's going to go from 2.5 to 5 million.
Yeah, that's the mistake. You give him $5 million, he's sick all the time.
I know, on the right team. But
ever
then
seen
again,
the movie Goon? His friend, that's Jonathan Drouin.
Listen, he's just one example of the
Maxime Laflamme.
Even looks like Drouin.
He does.
But, that's just an example of how this trade has benefited Chicago. Not Chicago. I'm sorry, Colorado. Chicago got the shit end of the stick. That GM should be terminated.
But it doesn't seem like it on the ice right away. At the beginning, like I saw the first game. Wasn't it against you guys?
Yeah, yeah. So yeah,
they weren't. You guys were better. I was so for Colorado.
But oh my God, the Bruins were not the best. Swayman helped do that. I mean, the defense also was able to keep them in check, and Swayman was able to see all the shots that he was taking. But still, like Colorado was the better team. And then Martin Necas, I believe
that final like 8 minutes too. I'm pretty sure like 3/4 of that time was in the Bruins D zone. Like
we had 8 shots.
Yeah, it's true. That's true.
Yeah. I think
why I was so frustrated. They couldn't beat you.
Dude, Martin Necas in 2 games with the Avalanche has 2 points. Like, so far it's working out.
Well, it's too small a sample size for sure. But, I mean, Necas is a good player.
Yeah, I mean, it's a really good player to get back. I mean, you obviously weren't going to get...
You're not getting
Rantanen.
Yeah.
But...
No.
I thought they did pretty decent. Like, I wouldn't, I wouldn't be mad. And again, I don't think really Colorado had a choice because they weren't going to give him $14 million. That just wasn't going to happen. So they got what they could now instead of letting him walk.
Well, now we're going to see what Mikko Rantanen can do without Nathan McKinnon.
I mean, listen, he's got it's not a bad line there, as we were saying before, right?
No.
Svechnikov and
No, but you got to think
Jesus.
Colorado got younger by also getting Martin Necas, who's 24, and then Jack Drury. Like they got younger.
Yeah.
You got to look at that was to me that's a win for Colorado. I don't know because you got younger, you got deeper. I think by the acquisition of Jack Drury, and you got 2 picks out of it, and then Chicago got a thumb in the ass. So like,
well, right now I'm telling you that's a trade on their part. You got to wait for the off season.
Yeah.
But okay, here's the question now with Carolina. Do you think what if he doesn't resign?
Then that's a loss.
That
is an expensive. Well, I guess not.
Unless they win the cup. If they
but-
win the cup this year,
Yeah, it doesn't really matter.
then maybe he could walk and it's not a loss. But man, if they don't win the cup and he walks,
you don't trade. You still can't trade Martin Necas and Jack Drury, a second and a fourth, acquire Taylor Hall and Mikko Rantanen, like re-sign neither of them, despite your cup win or not. That's a loss.
yeah, but it's okay.
You gave up two future
I'll agree
players.
with you. I'll agree with you, but it's not nearly as big a loss if you've won the cup.
It's still a loss in the trade. I don't give a shit which way you
I tend to I'll tend to agree with that. It's kind, they did give up a lot to acquire both of them.
Yeah, I'm not saying if you don't win the cup, then yes, that trade and you lose them, yes, then that trade was for absolutely
Colossal.
nothing.
A colossal loss.
Yeah, that was a colossal collapse of proportions. Like yes, 100%. I would still call it a loss, whether you can resign, I'm sorry, if you can't resign him. If you still can't resign him, even if you do win the cup, it's still a loss because of what you gave up.
It's just not as big a loss, but it's still a loss.
No, it's still a loss.
But I got to think, with Aho being his best friend, it's the Finnish connection. I kind of think they're going to sign him, man. Just dump KK at the side of the road. You got $4.8 million there. Right?
I mean, I don't think Kotkaniemi's having a bad year.
Oh, give him to Boston then. Then you can have him.
Not for that money.
Well, make up your fucking mind.
I did say that I would take him, but I don't know. We don't have money. Before we signed fucking Elias Lindholm, yeah, we had some money. Yeah, he has 24 points in 50 games, and he's predominantly playing on the lower end of the lineup. So I mean, that's not bad.
On a powerhouse team.
It's not bad if he wasn't making $7.5 million.
I mean, he only averages 13 minutes of 14 minutes of ice time. So if you really want to think about it, that's pretty good for someone who's only averaging.
And we went over the money.
If you're making that kind of money, you got to be. We
actually went over the money.
I'm not going to disagree with you.
Where KK's playing right now, the money is that's the kind of money that those guys get. Third line, if he's a third line center, yeah, you're around.
They were playing him on the fourth line for a period.
Yeah, okay, then he's overpaid by probably $2 million.
Yeah, no, I mean,
but you can have him.
Sure, you can take a floater on him.
You can have him.
I don't want.
They'll let you have him.
Good. I'll give you a 7th round pick for him, and then you can.
I'm sure they'll take it.
And then you can take Nikita Zadorov off my hands.
I'm sure they won't take Zadorov, I bet, but they'll take the 7th round pick for him.
I'll give people a bag of pucks and Zadorov for free for future considerations.
Okay, let's get to we kind of said who won this trade between Colorado and Carolina.
Chicago.
What would happen is if I'm right and in the offseason Chicago actually does get something that you got to go, oh wow, what would you do?
Oh man, what would I do? That would be crazy. I don't think it's gonna be that nuts. I mean, maybe they get another pick. It could be, you're right, could be performance based, but typically those are reported. If Hall scores X goals, then you get a second pick.
Yeah, no, that's conditional and that's reported. Yeah,
but those are reported. The fact
what
that
if Carolina makes a trade with Chicago in the offseason? Chicago sends back, but you look at it and go, wow, Chicago really didn't give up much to get that. And you'll know that's why.
I don't know. I think they should have gotten a second and a third for what they were dealing with. But
I agree. I mean, I agree. It's for what they did to get a third round pick it's insanity.
But early on, Colorado won the trade. They got younger, they got and they got draft picks in it, and they needed draft picks. But you can definitely tell Carolina's all in. It was a hockey trade that I think benefited both teams because Marty Necas was done with Carolina. And
it looked like Rantanen was kind of done in Colorado. So,
well, not according to what he said, but
not according to what he said, but that's a he said, she said. Will we ever know? I don't know.
Mm-hmm. Nortimer, your final take, and then we're going to move on to Western Conference playoff races.
Did we lose him? Earth to Nardi. What happened? He fell asleep.
No, you got me. No, my mic unplugged. No, look, I think Colorado did do a really good job getting pretty good assets, for Rantanen instead of losing him for nothing. But Carolina got Mikko Rantanen. Like that's a win in and of itself. He's a 100+ point player, and he's like a 2 or 3 point a game type player in the playoffs. Carolina wins this straight, hands down. I mean, Rantanen, you could even argue, is like a top 5 player in the league. I mean, you really could.
We're going to find out, I think, how important McKinnon was to Rantanen's numbers.
Yeah.
Right? Because that might be a difference there. It might, so his numbers could come down. He might not be 100 points. Yeah.
You're also looking at Carolina's built to be more of a defensive-based team, not an offensive-based team like Colorado is. So.
Carolado.
Can't say shit.
It's off the Gulf of America.
Okay. Let's move on to the Western Conference playoff races. Rick, Matt, why don't you take us into this and what you think so far?
Yeah. So I mean, obviously the past few weeks we've really been homing in on the East and how congested that is. But tonight we figured we'd take a look at the other conference and kind of see what's going on there, and kind of what teams could still make a push, what teams are out of it, and kind of discuss that. I mean, for me, looking at the standings right now, I mean, I really think, even Utah maybe, but I think, it'd be kind of tough. But I think honestly, from Utah up, playoffs are definitely still in play. But I think after Utah, once you start getting into Seattle, Anaheim, those teams, I think they're all pretty much done. And again, with Vancouver, until they make that trade, whether it's Pettersson or JT Miller.
Wait a second. Can I challenge you on that?
Yeah.
Utah's in the Central, right?
Mm-hmm.
They're 11 points behind Colorado. They're not in it.
They're literally only 7 or 6 points behind Calgary.
Oh, okay. So like across. Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
You're right.
What are you doing?
I didn't look at it that way. Never mind.
Yeah, 11 points behind Colorado is still 2 games in hand. So realistically, it could be 8 points, but it could be.
That's the former Coyotes.
So yeah, but they got better. They have Mikhail Sergachev. They're still without, I believe, Sean Dursey. But damn, put some respect on their name.
Why?
Fuck.
I don't have to.
No, I'll agree with Nortimer there. I just a perspective, they're in 5th place in terms of the wild card ranking. Colorado's first, Calgary is second. Meaning that Colorado has wild card 1, Calgary has wild card 2, and then it goes Vancouver, St. Louis, Utah, Seattle, Anaheim, Nashville, the Shithawks, and the Shit Sharks. So
I don't know. It's not easy to climb up as the Habs are finding. But it's a little closer in the East, so it's a little bit easier on a daily basis or game-by-game basis to see some results. I don't know. I don't think Utah. That's my personal opinion, anyways. Let's put it that way. Because when I looked at it, I thought, yeah, from St. Louis up, realistically, okay. Because I like St. Louis has a good coach there.
You're talking a 1 point difference and one more game played.
It's taking into account. No, more the teams as well, more than just the pointage. That's all. And again, I was looking at it, I wasn't thinking about the crossover wild card thing.
Yeah, I'm looking at it more holistically than just, not just their team, but I'm also looking at, where they are in the standings. And is it a possibility? It is a possibility. Like anything can happen.
Yeah, a possibility.
Like, I'm not just saying, like, do I think Utah makes it? Probably not, but that doesn't mean they're not in the hunt. That's the question. Like, are they in the hunt? Yes. The Kraken, they're 8 points out of the second wild card spot. That's 4 games. It's not insurmountable, but that's still a lot of ground you got to catch up, being 22, 25, and 3. So,
Right.
and which sucks. You got rid of your coach. I think they need to, I don't know, they need to figure out what's going on over there. So it's kind of concerning with Seattle. But even down, and then you drop to Anaheim, who's only 1 point behind them. I think they're out. I think, I'm with Matt that Utah and up, you have a realistic possibility of making a push.
For now, Utah can be included. I'll agree. Yeah.
Well,
and listen, also,
right now, like tomorrow, that could fucking change, dude.
But the farther you get into this into the season now, if they don't make that push and start moving their way up, the longer you wait, the harder it is. That's just the way it is.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. Yeah, no shit. I mean, not to sound rude or anything. I'm just, like, yeah, obviously, like as it goes day by day, if the teams like, ahead of you keep winning and then you keep losing, yeah, of course.
Well, they can keep winning. You can keep winning. If they're winning when
you're
winning,
so long as it's
shit.
Yeah, as long as pace is kept. But like the East, but you can't go on a losing streak of substance. But except in the East, it's more between wild card 1 and I would probably say
you can get him to third place in the East easy.
I mean, realistically, the only team that's Pittsburgh's probably out of it. But other than that, besides Pittsburgh and Buffalo, all the other teams realistically have a pretty decent shot.
Yeah, because New York has games in hand right now. Like I'm also taking that into consideration too. Like they could realistically be maybe 5-6 points out of a spot, with assuming games are tied and everything's tied up at that point. So it goes all the way down to 8th place with respect to wildcard rankings. Whereas, so you get 3 additional spots in the East as opposed to the West.
Oh, yeah.
So more of a dogfight, but you're starting to see separation.
In the West, you're seeing separation.
I think you're starting to see more so in the East too, just slightly, especially now with
maybe,
10 and 9. Yeah, 10 and 9 are starting to look like Pittsburgh and Buffalo are looking like they are going to drop. And Pittsburgh's admitted that they're going to do a fire sale, so they're likely going to take the lottery this year.
Yeah.
New York, the Islanders are probably going to see where they're at come the trade deadline, so they're going to be dependent. But I would imagine you're realistically speaking, it is probably with Detroit where you can probably see that, but that doesn't mean the others aren't in the hunt. But I think that's where they realistically stop.
If it's just in the hunt, I'll agree. Yeah.
And then Utah, I think, is in the hunt, but realistically, I think it actually stops in Vancouver. I think that it stops there.
Yeah, but the thing too with Vancouver, they need to make that trade. Like they got to move either JT Miller or Pettersson like quickly to get that team back on track.
And they need Demko.
Yeah.
Oh, desperately. Oh my God.
I
think Philip Roenick is on LTIR right now too.
By the way, I want to say I think I was the only one. I was the only one that I think had Vancouver out of the playoffs at the beginning of the season, because I knew about Demko and I knew he wasn't. So yeah, Demko is going to be really important for Vancouver.
I'm just double checking. No, I'm sorry. I was I don't know where I thought Philip Roenick was on IR. I'm sorry, I don't know. I'm probably like referring that because I play a lot of Chell. So, and probably in my GM connected, that's where I'm getting that confused. So probably. I apologize for that. Yeah, I'm just like, damn, because I think I tried to trade for him at one point. So I don't know. Yeah, they need help on the defensive end too. Like it's bad. Yeah. I mean, it says here Thatcher Demko is not injured.
No, but he missed a lot of the season. Came back, got hurt. Like that knee problem that he's got is one of those things that they can't fix it. So he's got to manage to learn how to play with it. So I don't know. I mean, look, I was right so far. Look where they are. That's about where I thought they'd be.
I don't know if they can just bolster the defense just a little bit, not a lot of bit, but a little bit.
Yeah.
And
no,
then,
they're not out of
like,
it. By any means, they're not out of it.
No, and then it's like if like Nordy said, if they get rid of JT Miller, but what are you gonna get for him? You know what I mean? People are very aware of that situation that's going on in Vancouver, that there is an issue between him and Pettersson.
Yeah, but I mean, getting rid of the issue could give them a boost as well, having that out of
Right.
the locker room.
No, I mean that's what I'm talking about. Because I mean obviously there's some sort of issue there, and I mean they got to get right. I mean again they're only 3 points out, so I mean it's they're fine, but they need to get right. They need to make that trade.
Yeah, I think so too. But what do you get? Honestly, like, because we've talked about it several times over.
You're not getting full value.
No, probably not.
No,
and you might have to retain some money, or you might have to take equal money back. So it all depends. Like, what are you willing to take?
Yeah, yeah. No, it's the thing is you're not going to get full value because teams know you got to move them.
And I still think Boston is one of the most likely landing spots. Yeah, I think Coyle.
Well, with the Hurricanes making the Rantanen trade, I think it's between Boston and New Jersey.
I don't think New Jersey is going to get him. Are you going to give him Timo Meier? I don't know. I don't know. I think Coyle would be a likely candidate to go, and probably Morgan Geekie, because I would anticipate if JT Miller comes here, well, you got to move Zacha to the left wing. You're not going to play him at center over JT Miller, but even though he plays better at that, so I don't know. New Jersey, I'd be hard pressed to see, because you're going to move money. You're going to move money out, man. And I know Alex mentioned it, like it would be Dougie Hamilton. No way. Not a 1-for-1. You know what I mean? And he's got no movement. JT Miller.
But do they need a guy like Hamilton over there?
No, because Hamilton has a no movement clause, and Hamilton makes $9 million. So,
that's probably not happening.
It's not happening.
What does Miller make? I don't know what he makes. He must make decent money.
$8 million.
Yeah, good money.
And then you got to think about a guy like Timo Meier, also has a no movement clause. So the only guy that makes $8 million is Jack Hughes. So are you really going to move Jack Hughes?
No, you're not moving Jack Hughes.
No, I know. And then there's also Dawson Mercer, who makes $4 million, but that's not enough for JT Miller.
There's probably no deal there.
Yeah, and New Jersey doesn't have a first round pick, so there's just no. I just don't see it. I don't see it with New Jersey.
It's probably what's taking so long is that there's not a lot of teams that deal makes sense for.
Yeah, a lot of their players have a lot of trade protection, and they're all making money. Their entire defense has some form of trade protection.
Yeah, I mean that's the problem with that. Give them trade protection like that. Everybody, you can't give everybody trade protection. That's the
Hamilton
thing, right?
has a full NMC. Brett Pesce has an NTC. Brendan Dillon has an NTC. Jonas Siegenthaler has a modified NTC, 10-team no trade list. Luke Hughes and Jonathan Kovacevic are the only two that don't have trade protection. And then you go to the forward group. Timo Meier has a full NMC. Jesper Bratt, full NMC. Nico Hischier, modified no trade clause, 10-team no trade list. Andre Palat, full NMC.
Jesus.
Eric Holla, no trade clause.
Why would a guy like Holla get a no trade clause or Palat have a full no movement? That's insane.
I don't know. Stefan Nosen, modified NTC, 10-team no trade list. And those guys are making money. The only two players that make $4 million plus without any form of trade protection is Jack Hughes and Dawson Mercer.
Well, Dawson Mercer it is. But
so
for JT Miller,
not good enough.
Not even close.
So what do you give him? And I know Alex has said there's a possibility that they send Simon Nemec, which is good. But I think you run yourself into the ground if you do that.
But wouldn't New Jersey be one of those teams also kind of needing to get it done now, not later?
Yep, they would be.
So
they should be knocking on the door of a playoff spot.
Yeah. So, I'm
sorry, of a cup rather.
Yeah, exactly. So, if you sell yourself a little short for later to get the job done now, GMs have done that.
Yeah. Nornimer, your thoughts?
your microphone.
Yeah, no, I mean, I agree. I don't think the Devils have what it takes to kind of pull the move off. But we'll see. I mean, we'll see what happens. But yeah, that trade's going to happen soon, and we'll see what ends up coming up. Coming out of it.
Let's talk about the actual like the teams in playoffs positions right now. The Jets, the Stars, the Wild, the Knights, the Oilers, the Kings, Colorado, and Calgary. Do you think any of them actually have the potential to drop out?
LA is the only one to me.
Oh, you think LA?
Well, just by points wise, right? They have a few bad games. Maybe they drop out.
They are also the team in the West that has the most games in hand of every other team.
Oh, this is true. So maybe that's why then the points. So, I don't know.
They're also without Drew Doughty, I believe, but I think he's coming back.
And Colorado's only 2 points away from Minnesota there. Not a lot.
No.
So there can be changes there.
Just to put in perspective for people who aren't aware, so Colorado has 60 points, Minnesota has 62. Minnesota has a game in hand against Colorado.
But still, I mean, that's so. I think like Winnipeg, Vegas, they're solid in there, and probably Edmonton as well.
Would you say Dallas?
Well, except for, I mean, it's tight there, right? 63 points for Dallas, 62 for Minnesota, 60 for Colorado.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I don't know if it's as solid.
Yeah, because I don't think is Calgary in the Central.
Calgary's in the center. Oh, that's a good question. I don't know. No, they're in the West.
Yeah,
no.
So the Central.
Wherever Edmonton is, they're both in Alberta.
So St. Louis with 50 points is 12 points behind Minnesota. I don't think they're going to catch up.
No, listen. I'm not saying Minnesota's going to fall out of the playoff spot.
Yeah.
But I mean, they only got 2 points up on Colorado. It's not a lot.
I agree.
So
I agree. Yeah, I think the only motion is going to be at the wild card, not necessarily anything above the wild card. I think will be pretty solid, but the wild card might have some motion. Maybe Minnesota too, like just slightly.
I mean, Minnesota's only a point behind Dallas, so you could say Dallas too. It's not. That's tight there.
Yeah.
For second, third, and the wild card is tight there in the Central.
I would see some movement up and down between Colorado, like in the Central Division, but I don't anticipate. Yeah, I really don't anticipate any of those teams necessarily falling out. I think the Central might be pretty locked up with those 4 teams.
Well, considering St. Louis is then way back, even with the 2 games in hand, I mean, that's still a lot. So I doubt it, but I mean, St. Louis maybe could.
Yeah. The Kings could fall. I mean, the Kings could fall out, but they got to lose those 2 games, and the other teams just got to keep winning. So I don't know. The Kings are a possibility. The Flames are a possibility, and Vancouver could take that. So
well, it depends. If Kings win those like games in hand, then they're right in there. They're not going to fall out. I mean, that's why it looks like they might fall out with so many games in hand.
Yeah,
but I mean, I'm not saying you're wrong or anything, but yeah, it's just that it's not set in stone. I kind of think Winnipeg, Vegas, Edmonton, they're safe. The other teams, they could still move around.
No, I don't disagree there. Yeah. I think so. There'll be movement. I don't think they'll fall out necessarily.
Yeah, well, but still 30 odd games for everybody. So that's a lot of games still.
Nordimus Prime. Give us your thoughts. Been quiet. Beware the quiet ones.
Yeah, no, I mean there's still tons of games left, but like I said, I mean I'm looking. I think the top 3 in each division are pretty much safe. Aside from the Central, I mean Minnesota, Colorado could probably again kind of go back and forth a little bit because there's only a game there. But again, besides that, it's really just kind of that second wild card spot. Again, between Calgary, Vancouver, and St. Louis would be probably one of those 3 teams.
Yeah, it's pretty much. I would agree with that.
Sorting itself out.
I would agree with that. The other ones, a position might flip flop, but I don't think they fall out. And I think you're right that Calgary, that second wildcard spot there in the West, is pretty much the only one that might be in contention.
Mhm.
But I mean, with 30-odd games, that's not set in stone either. Bad losing streak, like an injury to a key player on one of those teams, could really affect it. And with 30 games, that's a lot of games. So it's not at all said and done yet.
That's also a good point. All right, let's move on to our third and final topic of the night.
Yeah,
Move on pretty quickly, and this one should probably be, I don't know, not contentious, but it would be very interesting.
a celebratory. What do you mean contentious?
I don't know. There have been rumor. Actually, it's not a rumor. Gary Bettman has actually come out and said that the NHL should prepare for the day that he is not going to be leading the NHL, which is
Could that be like tomorrow?
music to my ears.
Hallelujah!
Like that would be so great. That would usher in a new era for just everything being better. I don't know. The guy sucks. So there's nothing more in this world than I would love to see him.
Yeah,
step down.
I can't even believe I'm saying this because Roger Goodell is the commissioner of one of the 4 major sports, but Bettman's probably the worst out of the 4. Like, I don't really think it's even close. Maybe Goodell can get close, but
I don't know. Goodell's pretty up there. Like
that's what I mean. But I'm
there's been multiple controversies with Goodell. I don't think Bettman has had as many controversies.
No,
as
but
Goodell.
Bettman has that face, especially now that he's older. And listen, I'm Jewish, so I can say this. And he's an old Jewish guy. He's got a face you want to smack. At the very least, just smack it.
He literally looks like an uncircumcised penis. Like, oh, come on. Like,
funny.
Tell me he doesn't.
No, I'm not going to.
Like, there you go.
Now, the problem here is, and a lot of people will tell you this, right? It's not really Gary Bettman, right? He's just doing what the owners want. So, do you think he leaves in the offseason? What are we going to get? And is it going to be any better if it's really the owners just making the guy do what they want? Because I think the commissioner should have a little independence from the owners and have some creativity and have some ideas and vision, But that's just me.
Do you think when his wife and him clean the house that she just like wraps him up in like just one giant condom? Like, do you just?
I don't know how to answer that.
I don't know. I feel like he needs protection.
We need protection from him. The NHL does anyway.
Just watching him come out to the ice, come out to the ice just to present the Stanley Cup. I'm just like, oh God, here comes the walking penis. Like, I say it every year. Like, I can't stand him. Like,
yeah,
he does.
Not too many fans like that dude.
No, he looks like a cretin. I don't.
And
even know
he
how
likes
to describe
that.
it.
He likes that, and that's why I think the owners like him, is because he takes all of that hate from the fans away from them, and it's all directed at Gary Bettman. And as much as I hate the guy, I do wonder how much does he actually really deserve that he's done something, or he's just like he's the front man. Here. Hate this guy while we do bad shit behind the scenes. Oh, sort of like the Trump administration.
What the hell? No.
Sorry,
I don't even know. Like, I don't even know where to begin with Gary Bettman. Like, I think it would be great. Like, but who would you replace him with?
That's a good question. Who do you think it's going to be if he does leave?
Rick Seligman.
I'd do a better job.
Like, I don't know.
I know.
Well, let's put Vogel in charge.
Maybe Satan. His buddy. And ask him to
Vogel?
come.
I don't know. Vogel would probably make a good GM.
He's the man of the people.
He is the man of the people.
Come on. Let's nominate Vogel.
What would he?
For it.
I don't know. What would be like the number one thing you guys would change?
You know me.
If you guys were okay.
No,
aside
no
from
more
that,
no more being.
listen,
no more being in bed with gambling. Mainly, take
aside from
shit
that
off the boards. That stuff they flash
aside
on the boards.
From that,
I want that
aside
gone.
From that, aside from that, find something else.
That's a good question. I'm sure there's some rules and stuff. Maybe the way they do the playoffs, how they or even the schedule. The schedule could use some kind of work. But then I sound like Alex.
I don't know.
What do you got?
What has he done that has pissed you off the most as GM?
Lockout.
Yeah, lockouts, and you know
Both.
what? The way they've sort of diced up all the rights for the broadcast, so you got to literally here in Canada, you almost literally have to have multiple streaming services or paid ways to watch the games. I pay for, and I can't get my games because they black out all the local games.
Oh, you poor little snowflake.
But what a stupid system where, hey, fans in the city where there's an NHL team, come on and subscribe. We're going to black you out, though, and you can't see your team's games. How does that make sense?
The NFL does the same thing, dude. It's kind of ridiculous. No, I think
ridiculous.
He's not doing a good job of anything. But it's I don't know. And fans hate it. Like, it's really crazy how much people hate him. By the way, can you tell me the difference, like, of which one is Bettman and which one's a giant pile of slop from this picture?
The Bettman is on the for me on the left.
Tell me that Bettman is not Bob from Aliens versus Monsters, and I will call you a liar.
Yeah, I don't know. They look the same. They're brothers, right?
Do you see this shit, Nordy? Like, they look identical.
Yeah. Well, okay. Bettman has two eyes. The other thing has one.
Yeah, okay, fine. But like when he's in like that gelatinous state, like I'm pretty sure the other eye is in his asshole, trying to look for the dick that's about to go in it.
I think though, when Bettman takes off at night, that's what he looks like on the other side.
What, a gelatinous mess?
Yeah.
I don't know. People have said like, "Oh, get Wayne Gretzky," blah blah blah. I'm like, no, I don't want Wayne Gretzky.
No, not Gretzky
as a commissioner. No. Just because you were a player, it's like the same thing like with a coach. Just because you're a player doesn't mean you're going to be a good GM, a coach, a president. Doesn't mean any of that. I don't know.
A good head of player safety.
Yeah, dude.
I get somebody, and it's not because maybe I'm biased, but I get somebody with the character and knowledge and the caring of the game and the players like our GM Kent Hughes. I'm not saying Kent Hughes, but I mean somebody with that kind of outlook, that knowledge and caring of the game itself and the players who play the game. I think that would be great if they would get somebody that actually cared, and then maybe the Department of Player Safety would be something that's legit.
If Willie O'Ree wasn't so old, I would actually suggest Willie O'Ree.
Yeah,
because that man does so much for the hockey community and everything else. Like, he has awards after him. Like, he's just an outstanding guy. Bettman has his toilet seat named after him. Like, so
Bettman has a toilet seat named after him.
That's what he calls. Yeah, he calls it Little Gary. Sorry, that's his penis.
That's his penis. And
come on.
And Little is right. Yeah, from what I understand.
Yeah. I don't know. I hope that they do their vetting process very well. If he does step down, I don't know any of the other NHL board of directors that would, make a good candidate. But
well, this is something I said before, right? Is basically Bettman does what the owners want. So, it makes me think that are they going to bring in somebody who is better than Bettman? I don't know. Or just another lapdog that's going to
a much better businessman than Bettman ever was, because you can't just kneel to the owners, because obviously the owners are going to want money, but you can also get money in multiple different ways, and by growing the game,
right?
Not making the same mistakes that Bettman did, like keeping Arizona there, that was causing the NHL to absolutely hemorrhage money.
Yeah.
Like, trying the Atlanta Thrashers not once but twice.
Right.
Like, just
and maybe again.
And maybe again, yeah, you're just, I don't know, like the biggest thing that he's ever done for the league was actually bringing Vegas into the game, because the Golden Knights bring them so much money. Their arena is probably sold out every night. Like it's crazy how much money I think the Vegas Golden Knights have brought in the NHL. Probably Seattle too, because they're another very popular expansion team, especially with Climate Pledge Arena.
I hope whoever does replace him does a better job at growing the game in the U.S. And by that, I mean just do a better job at getting young kids into watching hockey and making it more accessible to them. Where in Canada, it's a little bit easier to watch hockey if you're in Canada, because it's our game. In the States, they need to make it easier for people to watch, not harder.
They did do that. They did that with the TNT deal and the ESPN deal.
Well, I don't think so.
Yeah, it's what's gotten the most grossing thing for the NHL. Like it brought in.
Well, okay, so then just overall, they need to do a better job growing the game.
I would argue that the United States is up there with Canada right now. Have you our compete level with you guys has the gap has
World Juniors and Canada can't medal in those.
I'm talking about popularity, getting them closer to.
Well, that has to do with it, dude.
NBA, NFL, and MLB. They got to get.
Wait, hold on. So you don't think that showing development and the gap closing, between two competitive nations is growth? I would consider that growth, because that means you have more kids interested in trying to improve their skill set, because now the intercompetition has grown. But
if you're exposing the game to more kids than they are now, then you'll get that.
I think, I don't know if you've seen it, but a lot of towns like Minnesota, I mean, obviously the hockey states, Massachusetts, Minnesota, and a couple others, it's hard to find ice time in a lot of states, even in places like Dallas. I know some people down in Houston, and they're saying the game of hockey has grown. Even in Arizona, hockey has grown there. They're just not.
Let me put it this way: how about making hockey more accessible to the less fortunate that are not as rich? Because you got to have money to play hockey.
Oh, sure. I won't deny that. It's much easier to pick up a basketball and go play. It's much easier to pick up a soccer ball and go play.
Yeah, soccer's the cheapest here anyway. Soccer is the cheapest.
Yeah, I mean, but you also got to look at, you're paying for you got to pay for the rink, the ice time. It's not hockey itself is just not as accessible as other sports. It's an indoor sport. It's a winter sport. That's like asking you to go skiing in the summer.
Yeah, you don't think the NHL makes enough money that they can't have a program for less fortunate kids to get them involved, and
they do.
Give them the opportunities.
I believe they do.
It's not that great. Let's put it that way.
I don't know. I think Willie O'Ree heads that. Matt, could you correct?
No, okay. So give him more. Give him more resources. That's what I'm talking about, though.
Sure, but then
I'll do a better job there.
I think there should be more outreach. I'm not disagreeing with that. Hockey is expensive. Like goalie pads right now are $5,000.
Okay, but
minimum.
Listen, Gary Bettman is so far, he does not understand how normal people live. You know what I mean? Get a guy who's more of, like you said about Vogel, man of the people. They need a guy that's more of that.
Yeah, but how do you get Bauer and CCM and all these other hockey companies to subsidize this equipment? You know what I mean? It definitely doesn't cost $180 to make a stick. It definitely doesn't. It's a composite. It's
here it's $400.
Yeah, but I'm talking about the overhead, because you make it for 180 or something like that, and then you charge like 350 for it or something like that, because you got to think about shelf life and things like that. It definitely doesn't cost that much money. So I guarantee you these companies are doing it. And when they have the end of the year sales, please kiss my ass. Everything goes half price, and I'm just you still probably profit 300% off the half price material. It's ridiculous.
I think too much money. It's too expensive to get into hockey. That's all.
I bought my skates at 50% off. I bought $1,000 skates for $500, and the guy was just you could just get this pair for $500, or you can get last year's top elite model for the same price. I was like, fuck it, then just give me the top elite model from last year if that's gonna be the same price. What's the difference? A year? It's not going to make anything. The technology is the same.
For sure.
They say they improve the technology, but it's not.
And anyways, if you know how to skate, you don't need the best. Don't skate
No,
on
but
your
if I can
ankle.
have it for the same price of what a regular pair is going to cost me, why the fuck not? Like, you know what I mean?
I get it, but man,
Why shouldn't I have it?
if you can see what I used to skate in as a kid to what there is today,
and you
it's
actually,
crazy.
I can tell you right now, you can notice the difference between the grade of skate. I can tell you right now.
Oh,
It's
I
not-
know that. No, I know that, but I mean, come on.
There's a lot of support that comes with those higher grade of skates,
Yeah,
especially at the ankle.
yeah. When you're paying that kind of money for skates, they should be doing something else for you too at the same time.
I agree.
I won't say what.
Nordimus Prime,
I think we lost him.
say something.
No, I'm here. No, I agree with you guys. And you know, I mean, I don't know if maybe they even tap the deputy commissioner. I don't know.
Who's
But-
that? Do you know who it is?
It's the bald dude.
Oh no. Larry Daly or something? No.
Oh, Bill Daly.
Bill Daly. Yeah, no.
Why? Why not
Because
give him an opportunity?
he's just a junior freaking Gary Bettman. I've heard some of the stuff. His stances. No, I don't want.
Okay.
I don't want.
Well,
Bill
you know what?
Daly.
I bet you that's who they're going to pick because they're going to
Probably.
say he has the experience. So
Probably, but
I don't know. You need someone to usher in a new era for hockey.
You need somebody new, somebody fresh, somebody that's not been part of Gary Bettman's.
No, I think you just need a younger mind. I think you need a younger mind that
More
understands
modern day hockey executive.
Someone I think who's also going to crack down on the owners and GMs and just say this is where we need to go.
Yeah,
and
that's what I'm saying. Somebody that's strong enough to do that. But will they bring in somebody like that? I doubt it. The owners don't want to have their asses spanked over something. So I kind of doubt it, which is unfortunate because, you know, the NHL, there's a lot of problems that they should fix.
Wait, I have the perfect candidate. Tim Peel.
Go blow yourself, Jesus.
He'd be the greatest commissioner.
Yeah, sure. Okay, just
make up calls all around. Make up calls all around.
Yeah, exactly.
That's how
I want somebody with actual integrity. You know, somebody, I don't know.
Austin Matthews.
By the way, I can answer your question. The thing I would change the most in the NHL would
Tim
be
Peel.
I would overhaul what they're doing with the refs training or something.
Yeah, it's bad.
I would do something with the refereeing.
It's bad. It's really bad.
There you go.
I don't even know.
And I didn't mention that word. I mean, not bad. I said the refs, and I didn't say all the
you
refs.
can say what it is. They're off. They're
horrible.
Really
something needs to be done.
I don't know if it's just the new age of refs coming in, and that's how they're being told to call the games now. But maybe
there's still a lot of older refs too.
Yeah, I mean the new ones are all paired up with the older guys, so I think it's just the same old.
Yo, I was at the Bruins Avs game on Saturday, and you know, I got free tickets in Lodge, so thank you very much to Quinn who actually supplied those. That was really awesome, and I saw that one of our referees was Dan O'Rourke, and I'm just like, I'm just gonna leave now. I'm just like, I'm so all set. I'm like, he's notorious. Like Kelly Sutherland, and for like giving him most calls, like I think the Bruins against him, like it sucks so bad.
Kelly Sutherland just sucks across the board.
Yeah,
Wes McCauley's gotten really bad too lately. Like, the last few years,
sucks. He used to be so good. He used to be so good. I don't know. Maybe it's his age and his eyesight ain't what it used to be. But I used to love Wes. I used to love his dad. I think his dad ref too. So like I don't know. It sucks to see it.
I can't say there's ever been a ref that I could say I used to love that guy. I don't think so.
Oh, I love Wes McCauley's like personality, like the way he does the showmanship a little bit. I mean, like, yeah, of course some calls are going to be questionable, but I wouldn't say he like a while ago he was a really bad referee. I thought he could make good judgment calls.
It's okay for some calls to be questionable because that's just you were humans. But when the percentage is too high, then there's something wrong.
Yeah, I mean Kelly Sutherland was fucking shooting for 70% of fucked up shit last year. So
it seems almost. I mean, I don't think it's as high as 50%, but there's a much higher percentage of calls that are questionable these days than there ever was.
Sure, yeah, but I think those are done by a lot of the younger core. If I don't like, you know,
Well,
I'd be
like I
remiss to say.
said, there's no tandem of two refs that is two young guys. Because I tried.
No, you have a journey. No, you definitely have a journeyman and a new guy. So for sure.
Yeah, you got a guy that's experienced with at least 500 games or more, and oftentimes over 1,000, and a guy that's in his first 50 games.
Yeah, so that's awesome. That's epic. I don't know, but yeah,
But
I agree with you.
If the experienced guy is horrible, and the poor kid's getting trained by a horrible ref.
I agree. Yeah, no, I think overhauling the referee program would be
that's
would
where
be a
I'd
good
shoot.
benefit. More outdoor games too for the states that can actually support it. That brings in a ton of money. So I mean, I don't know.
guess, yeah.
That'd be really cool to see. I mean, they do the stadium series every year.
I can't wait to see what the electric bill is going to be for the outdoor games in Florida next year.
Oh, I know. I know, dude. I still have no idea how the fuck they're going to do that.
Through the roof.
Buddy, I think that is one of the coolest concepts that they're doing. They're going to have hockey in Florida, like outside, for like 5 minutes until the AC blows I think capacitor or whatever the hell, not the capacitor, the compensator. I can't remember what it's called, but like, and all of a sudden they're going to be skating on slush, and someone's going to and Kachuk's going to eat shit right into the crossbar because his skate got stuck in the slush.
Well, serves them right for trying to waste that kind of money to put on that kind of a thing. It's not worth the money, and there's better uses.
Oh, you have I guarantee you that stadium is going to be filled because it is a historic element. Yeah, the tickets are gonna be outrageous, I bet you. It's also Florida, so
is the money gonna help the homeless or something like that? No. So it's a lot of money wasted on what?
I don't know. Higher cap space. That's what we need right now. David Pasternak's gonna want like $14 million, and we don't. And I don't know. Daddy Sweeney don't have it, so we got to work on that. Even though Pasternak's not up for another time frame, so I don't know.
That's your problem.
2031, I think. So is Elias Lindholm.
I don't care.
Yeah, I know.
Your problem.
Like 8 years of third line center making $7.5 million.
He'll be fine. He'll be fine.
It's nice of Alex to join us, eh?
I think so. Yeah.
Isn't it?
Ooh, you suck.
Yeah. All right. Well, I guess.
Nerd alert. Sorry.
Are we going to get to the fun facts?
Rick has a fun fact for us tonight, ladies and gentlemen. That's where we'll close it out. Rick, tell us your fun fact.
Fun fact. Okay.
You're so excited about this. You wanted to jump right into it.
Fun fact. I'm impersonating Vogel. Fun fact. Bananas are berries. Yes, a berry is a simple fruit that grows from a single ovary and flower and usually has multiple seeds. There you go. You're smarter than you were 5 minutes ago.
Nerd alert.
Nerd alert.
All right, fellas. I think that'll do it, right? Any final thoughts that you guys want to give out before we close out this bitch?
That was my final thought.
Nortimer?
I'm good.
I think I'm going to start playing crickets every time.
I think.
Because it takes it forever.
Go to Matt. Crickets.
Crickets.
All right.
Did you hear that like pathetic laugh?
You all suck.
All right.
Oh, that was funny. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that's going to do it for episode 56 of the Pucking Around podcast. Don't forget to go check us out on our website at don'tpuckwithmedia.com. That is don'tpuckwithmedia.com. There is no apostrophe in don't. Otherwise, if you do type that, you will get taken to the wrong site. I don't know what kind of site that is, but I really don't want you to go there. I want you to go to don'tpuckwithmedia.com. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and leave comments in the comment sections. We do read them. We do respond to them. We do love you. We will feature you on an episode. And without further ado, guys, that ends it. Have a good night, everybody.
Ciao, everybody.
Thanks for watching.